He semi-man pamiwak bo. This podcast brought to you by God.
By God.
By prayer. Am I wasting the space?
What space?
Of the thing?
It's okay.
Is it recording?
See.
Oh, okay, cool.
Use it as prior to the episode.
B-roll footage. Love it.
We're gonna pray for the best, guys. See if this works, but... Hi, welcome back.
Hi.
Welcome back to the podcast. My name is Angel. I'm at that 1/3 of the OnBrand podcast. As you can see, I'm alone, like I said, the 1/3, because we're doing OnBrand Podcast Abroad, which means each of the people belonging to the team of OnBrand Podcast, they're in a different country right now. I'm Ita Corsol. He is not a member. He's not a member. He will be introduced in a second. Jaim Tana Hulana and Rudina Tana Boneru. So, each of us doing different country means a different take, our own take of what an episode would be like. And I guess mine is very blue. Yeah. And we have wine as well to make it classier. So let's start the episode. I hope you guys like it of us. Mind you, again, this is my first time doing things by myself. So please don't roast me. Today on the podcast, I have a dear friend, a enthusiastic a law graduate student, and he wears blue shirts.
I love blue shirts.
Yeah, I think, isn't that your favorite color?
Blue is my favorite color.
See, I'm right. My friend, Chris. Applause!
Thanks for having me.
Yes, introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Chris Everts. You can find me online.
Dang, you're already promoting yourself.
I should probably shouldn't. No, yeah, sure.
No,
you
go
can you can find me on Instagram at Chris Everts.
No. So it's 2 times at?
No, it's at Apastarcha
Mm-hmm.
Chris Everts with 2 S's until T-S Everts, but with 2 S's. Nada kwenti T-S Z. We real out here.
This is so disrespectful.
This is very confusing already.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, I am all the things you said.
Yeah.
And I'm happy to be on the podcast.
Great. I was very happy putting Chris on the podcast because we've been friends for a while.
We have been.
And we're very enthusiastic about art.
We are.
Specifically black art. And last time I checked, we're both black. So, perfect episode to do this together.
Mm-hmm.
So, we're going to start off with a question I ask Chris.
I'm just going to say, I'm glad you admitted that I'm black. Anton no blanco di pading. I'm just going to use this as proof.
I'm trying to make this a safe zone for everyone out here.
For all future conversations.
Yeah.
You said it, you admitted it. Mito preto.
You're calling me out in public like this. Not appreciated.
In front of God and all of your... and all of the listeners.
Right. Pero yeah, ang question ko ma-ask Chris, some time ago.
Mm-hmm.
I think sabi after mawak.
I'm thinking of ending things.
I'm thinking of ending things. A movie you recommended me is on Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
I would say it's not gonna be what you think it is. So no like it, it's a coming of age of not that it's not.
What I'm thinking of ending things is a movie about a road trip where a recent couple goes to meet the parent of the other one. What do you mean? It's a completely normal movie. No,
it's completely not movie.
Yeah,
Pero try not to give spoilers. Pero a movie a bit on the weird side, I would say.
Yes. I'm thinking of Ending Things is a movie by Charlie Kaufman, which I am a very big fan of. He wrote movies like Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind and Anomalisa, which are both movies that I highly recommend.
Yeah.
I think they're very great movies. They're very weird movies. And without spoiling, I don't think we can spoil anything of Ending Things. It is that strange of a movie.
Yeah.
But it is all very surreal. There's a lot of metaphor. There's questions about time. There's question about like memory. So it's very weird, very strange. And yeah, it is very out there. And that's just something that Charlie Kaufman often does. But I think a lot of these like weird indie movie art films like get to be weird and get to be different and get to be like surreal. And yeah, and I think it was a valid question. It's like,
Yeah.
where are the black movies that do this, or like why don't black artists get to be as boundary pushing as this is? I'm sorry, did you not?
I didn't even ask that.
Oh my god!
I didn't even ask that,
Whoops.
but he gave away that question I had, which is basically,
What's the question you had?
yeah, haha. A question that I had is, why can't black people make movies like this? Why don't we see more black people making? I mean, they say weird, and with that weird, it's not in any way trying to offend anyone. Kuta consider it weird because I don't really like using that word weird being used against me, because it's never been used in a positive way. But weird in the sense of not stereotypical, not belong to a stereotype, not the usual things you would see black people in, which to me are, either hood movies, of slavery movies,
Right.
of
Right.
Tyler Perry comedy, whatever, kung things kuta, more indie films, and probably there are, but it's not pushed forward
Yeah.
in media to me. And so while watching things like this, why aren't we included in things like this? And not as a token, but rather as it being, I'm thinking about Ending Things, cast full black.
Yeah.
But it has to also make sense.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I'm gonna ask us a question of why.
Mm-hmm.
So what's your take on that?
I'm going to like say one little thing when you said, but it has to make sense. Because I remember having that question when Birdman. This is like 2014. Do you remember this movie Birdman?
I know about it. I haven't
Right.
seen it.
Birdman was a movie where it was 100% completely shot in one take, meaning it looks like it was shot in one take, meaning there was no camera cuts. So like everything looks like it's one continuous long take. And it was like a drama, and it featured 100% a full white cast, pretty much. And I remember telling a friend this, like, oh, you could have put any actor here. You could have put an actor of color. You could have put a black person here. And she said, but it would have to make sense. I want the best actor for the role, and not just to like cast something just for diversity's sake. But then I thought, why are we so accepting that white is the default? Nobody has to argue why this had to be a white person. And I'm thinking of Ending Things, nobody had to argue why this had to be cast with like white people. And also, I think the actors in both movies are incredible. They're incredibly amazing. But there are incredible actors of color. There are incredible like black actors. And we don't find ourselves arguing why does a white actor make sense? Why couldn't it be a black artist? Why couldn't it be a black actor? But okay, going back to the question, why don't we get to make movies like this? I think that's a very good question. I think that there are some examples happening, of course, but those are usually the exception rather than the rule. And I'm also like remembering now when Spike Lee made a movie for Netflix called The Five Bloods, which is a movie I didn't see, but there was a scene that was set like años promé, Caminda e Renan Mas Young, and he didn't get the funding to use age reversing prosthetics or effects that Martin Scorsese, which also made a movie for Netflix, did. And I think that points to a very material thing where, because we don't have directors or producers and people of color that are in a position to be able to give more people of color work to do. I think that's also part of the reason why it doesn't happen, because movies, unlike, for example, music, movies are super expensive. Movies are millions of dollars. Get Out, which is the Jordan Peele movie, which is, I think, an exception rather than a rule. Get Out was a $5 million movie. His next film, Us, was a $20 million movie. Marvel movies are like $200 million plus, and I think it is a very material thing where it's that, oh, we don't have black producers, or there aren't enough black producers and black directors to be in a position to risk giving smaller creators or creators with weirder ideas a chance to express themselves. But when we look at music, because music is much cheaper to make, I do think we have a lot weirder things. I do think if you look at the SoundCloud rappers, for example, they're making some weird stuff. I do think when we look at, I can't think of a lot of examples off the top of my head, but I do think we have that diversity and that expression and that like weirdness on music because it's so cheap to make. What do you think?
To give an answer to look at Bobby Saprami about it has to make sense to me, in the sense cool we'll put black people in something that doesn't fit the cultural background. Tahong bakwe un character that was written to be white and put a black actor to play it. And mitamire oreku and naku race has to be the primary point of, this person is a black man. Pero besides being a man, he's also black. Just say pa ami mita kaya kuting ora ita very.
Oh, it's raining.
Yeah, it's not written it's not written by a black writer, by a black screenwriter. Who ting enotch a pasama ni, oh, this isn't something cool. No pa again pa make generalize that all black people do this, pero we don't all have a amazing, coming of age story. Sing po ni mani religion, sing po ni cultural differences, sing po ni bullying, sing whatever being the case involved in the story. And if you say it has to make sense in the sense cool, where is that flavor of being black in the character besides it being a superhero, for example? Like, I'm pretty sure even if it's just putting spices in food or traditional pieces in your house, it makes you see of notice coming, hey, this is Caribbean, this is very African, this is very European. And by trying to make it make sense, it has to have those things in it.
That is true. Yeah, that is true.
So to me, I guess it's more about a storytelling than it is about the funding. Yeah. So that's my.
Yeah, I think that's very. Yeah, and I think the thing about this, where this doesn't only have to do about race, it's just good storytelling. If you have people from different, the thing that you mentioned about or else it's just spray painted version de something that was not that. I remember there was this BoJack Horseman joke, which I thought was very joke, where it's this
BoJack Horseman itself is a whole
why can't black people make BoJack Horseman? Where's the black BoJack Horseman? That's very true. But BoJack Horseman, this very funny show on Netflix, highly recommended. There's this joke where you have this filmmaker that's pitching they want to make a superhero movie that features a woman, and this filmmaker is telling them her take on it. And she's like a weird indie filmmaker, so she almost can't help herself, but she made a very good point when she said that I don't think this character makes sense. When you have a female superhero, she doesn't get the same praise and respect as the men do. If you have a female superhero, they're going to be asking, oh, why is she wearing that? Is what she wearing is too tight?
Yes.
They're going to be
Yes.
judging her for her experience. They're going to like add all of these things on it. And the joke was sort of that, oh, she's going to add that to her take. So I do think it is very true. If you do, and I think that's the good thing about diversity. It makes stories more interesting.
Right.
If you have people of color, if you have black folk, if you have Caribbean folk, you are adding a different perspective and you're making that story a lot more interesting.
Right.
Which would only, I'm thinking of ending things, would only be more interesting if you had that layer of, an additional culture with it. But I do think it is a very material thing, which is to say that I think now that we are getting, if you look at Jordan Peele, for example, because Get Out made a lot of money, it's very material. Pa Sombra, Get Out made a lot of money. Jordan Peele got to produce movies, and so because of that, we are going to get Candyman next year, which is written and directed by black folk. We have Lovecraft Country, which is a very strange series showrun by black folk. And Atlanta, the Donald Glover TV series, hired a lot of black folk to make that. And I think that's sort of the thing that would have to happen, where we need people from a certain demographic to be in position to give other people jobs to work on weird stuff.
Yeah.
And to take a risk, because it is a risk.
Yeah. They're interesting. Come back talk about Jordan Peele, which I also am a fan. I really enjoy horror. Specifically, to make that clear, don't invite me to know I want to be a Final Destiny. It's not called Final
Final Destiny.
It's not Final Fantasy.
Final Destiny.
What's that movie called?
Let me ask the audience.
That movie is called Final Destiny.
Final Destiny?
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine.
I'm 90% sure. Don't come at me.
Keep the Final Fantasy.
That's a video game. Do you want me to talk about?
No.
I got 50 minutes of Final Fantasy in me. Final Fantasy is a JRPG video game series that recently they remade Final Fantasy 7.
No, we're not talking about that. I'm talking about the horror thing. Don't invite me to Saw. Don't invite me to that. Don't invite me to anything gory, killing. I don't know. Don't care. I did like The Conjuring.
The Conjuring.
The Conjuring. Conjuring. And Insidious. Insidious as well.
You know what Insidious? Insidious, isn't that the Disney movie?
Insidious?
I'm thinking of a different
Oh my
thing.
god, no.
Okay, what's the Disney movie with the feature a Mama of Cinderella? Nope, the Mama of Snow White. Nope.
Maleficent?
Oh.
No.
Yes, I was thinking Maleficent.
It's not that. But I do like psychological horrors or something you've mentioned today, just social thrillers, right?
Social thrillers, yes.
Also, like those, anything that makes me feel like I should watch the movie twice, sign me up. But you said that. With that being said, I do like things that Jordan Peele to make and things that he's been on. I'm enjoying Lovecraft Country, even though it's kind of confusing to follow. But it's the thing, cool. You know, it's so weird. It's so unusual to me, and to me, it belongs to the fantasy genre. Is that it?
I think that's fair.
I
think that's
fantasy, but I like that genre as well. And very rarely I see so many black people in it.
Yeah, no, because on the fantasy question, they call those like genre films, which is fantasy, horror, and science fiction. All of those are things that sort of like mangle and interact, but I think like Lovecraft Country is a very prominent it's a genre film, especially since it's using, I think, like horror and mythology from H.P. Lovecraft, which did not like black people, which the show makes a point of, but like in that fantasy, science fiction, maybe now more so, things like Star Trek, but like fantasy and like horror has like famously does not feature black people. I'm sorry, that's
Yeah.
That's the my point.
So it didn't end with a dot.
No, yeah.
Yeah. Pero, but you saying that, still Jordan Peele's black, but he gives the African American perspective of things. And we did a trial episode. Come in to talk about black art again. Pero if you would like to listen to that one, just let us know. Let's release it as a bonus. But we spoke about seeing Caribbean art, which is to me I've always said black people are very similar, but we're so different at the same time. But no pone a Caribbean super big because Caribbean is so big, pero bokeh someone that is black and from the Caribbean, bokeh an African American person, bokeh an European race black person, bokeh an African, bokeh from a different region. We might have similarities, but it's a different story. Both upbringing to different, both environment to different, and so you're gonna have different stories being told. And so, looking at stuff I say in the episode 8, you'd want to see more Caribbean art. You would want to see a different side of being black that isn't predominantly from the African American point of view. What do you think of that statement?
Yeah, for sure. Like, black people are not a monolith. Like, we are not all the same, contrary to popular belief. But there's definitely something that binds us. Like, I think there's that Chance the Rapper line, ask anybody from my city and he gon' say that we cousins, which I think is definitely something that nos surting algo en común. We all have a specific experience, but I think the African American experience, which is the thing we see reflected in art, in movies, and matama music, that is definitely not us. I do not see us reflected in a lot of circumstances. At nos specific, being manayu de Corsao, we do not, for example, have the experience of being a minority in a majority white country, for example. We just don't have you have it kind of now being in Holland.
Yeah. See, I guess, yeah.
Yeah, but that required you moving. That's a very different I thought there was a green screen. That's real. Yeah, it's a totally different experience, and I don't think that I see the Caribbean experience being reflected in a lot of things. I think that there definitely are examples, pero if you take somebody from Jamaica or if you take somebody from Haiti, of Henry Corso, they have different stories for the Jordan Peele or a Tyler Perry.
Lena Waithe.
I just realized Jordan Peele and Tyler Perry are like the only black producers me would think about.
Lena Waithe is a writer, right?
I don't know what Lena Waithe is. I'm sorry.
Ava DuVernay, Lena Waithe.
Yes, Ava DuVernay. I do know. Don't know how to pronounce her name, but I do know. I do know her.
Yeah.
I don't know Lena Waithe. Maybe I do know her.
Lena Waithe is bald.
I might know her. Was she in Black Panther?
No, she was in.
Oh, she's a writer. You said.
I think she's a writer, but she's an actress as well.
Is she from Insecure?
No, that's Issa Rae.
Names sound similar.
I can see that.
But for example, like the HBO shows, like Issa Rae's shows, Atlanta.
Michaela as well.
Michaela who?
Michaela, is it Michaela? Michaela something. I cannot pronounce her. Coen. Michaela. I don't want to say Coon. So I think it's something else. But Michaela, direct and write. It's slipping my mind. You May Destroy Us. It May Destroy Us?
That sounds familiar.
Something like that.
That sounds familiar. Definitely things to watch.
A very heavy show, so beware.
Okay.
Pero, yes.
Pero see, when I think about Henry Corso specifically, who reach to place that can produce things, the only person that comes to mind is Jean Dino, which does not necessarily make things that like reflect our experiences, which does not necessarily like make art that is art that we like, or thoroughly enjoy, or makes us like reflect about like what our experience is. So there is definitely an absence, and I think I've searched a lot. So I like movies and stuff and art and stuff. Because I've searched a lot for specifically movies that reflect our experiences. I think Guava Island comes close. Guava
Yeah.
Island, the movie by
Donald Glover.
there we go. All I thought of was Childish Gambino. The
Donald
movie
Glover.
by Donald Glover. It stars
Starring
Rihanna.
as well.
It's set in a fictional Caribbean island. The island clearly has influences of Cuba. They speak Spanish.
Yeah.
And it was so nice to be able to see the island through that lens. Because that's something that we often don't see. Because we do have books and literature. We have writers like Bully van Leeuwen. We have Double Spell. There are definitely books in our like literature, specifically the Manew Yukorso literature that like reflect that. But we don't have the big movies. We have the Double Spell movie. We sort of have the Double Spell movie.
Is that the one with the Lala in J?
Yes.
Then, girl, what? No, I don't know. It's a time but napabing ko nga for but some it doesn't again. It's trying to be Americanized.
Yeah, the accent, for example, was off. That was a very generic
Yeah.
Caribbean accent, but it wasn't our accent. And I think that goes to show the diversity within Caribbean islands. They had a sort of Caribbean accent from islands that were colonized by Britain. They didn't have a Caribbean accent by islands that were colonized by the Dutch, which is to say Curaçao, Aruba, Cubaneiru,
Yeah.
Sint Maarten, Sint Eustatius, Saba.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm forgetting one. No, I'm not. It's only us. It's only 6 of us. See? SSS Island, this episode's for you.
Oh my god.
Pasombra, we can't not only speak English.
Right. But see, nos no acting things school again, no. And I think it is important for us to know when I say sa kung black people not making slave movies, it's like I've seen all of them putting good African American. Because I mean, I know about Selma, I know about this, I know about that. So I've heard about them, I've seen movies about them because they're being made, plus it's a big country. Pero, see what was kung Tula? Do it right. So it doesn't double spell, do it right. We only have this chance, but quite autobiographical by about like someone decide to make it. So it is it's about money. I understand that, but it should be authentic to the people.
See, I remember there was this movie reviewer that there was this movie reviewer that was talking about Tula, and it was I'm trying to remember the phrasing, but it was something along the lines of, it's kind of ironic how a movie about sort of sovereignty or like being free from like the shackle of oppression managed to make a movie that does not at all take in account the experiences and like the experiences and knowledge di hindi país basically like zundrando movie makers panotating un Yudi Corso on set because a lot of things were off, a lot of pronunciations of names were off, and it was like, oh yeah, clearly there was yung hindi of this island on the set, which I thought was very funny.
And you'll see it, not only no to recognize it.
See,
you'll immediately see like this sounds like it's not from here. This doesn't look like it's from someone who think knowledge and mind you, I don't even have that knowledge myself, pero then have an expert, have a professional who people fact check Kiko book put down
and give them power. Don't just give them an advisory role, give them a position where they can say, oh no, do this, or oh no, this is actually better, and that you'll actually listen to them.
And it may cost you more, but it's gonna cost you more, but I feel like have it wrong. Yeah,
because it's gonna... Imagine if Double Spell and the Tula movie were movies that we enjoyed and we thought were good. We'd be recommending people to watch them. I'm hoping Bulado is that. Please tell me that's the title of the movie.
Yeah.
Okay, great. I'm hoping Bulado is that. I haven't seen it yet, but I hear it's very good. I'm hoping Bulado is that one movie that like everybody will point to. Everybody will like shout its name from the rooftops.
Yeah.
Because if something hits right, if something hits a Papalo demographic right, they'll shout it from the rooftops. They will be evangelists for that specific movie or show or whatever. And I think if you get like those small details right, if you like reflect a specific experience correctly, then the people will start being evangelists for that type of thing.
Right.
And I do, yeah. And again, I love Donald Glover's work. I love Jordan Peele's work. Pero indeed, there is a difference between nos kuta Afro-Caribbean and to them kuta African-American. Like, we have things in common, but there is definitely an experience. And the Black experience is not a monolith. And I like those movies, pero I also would want movies and media that reflect us and our experiences, or at least like acknowledges that our experience exists. And I'm gotta make it bisabo ko it's very similar to kung antes African Americans used to watch kung fu movies and movies from like Hong Kong and like samurai movies, because they were people of color in a majority white country, and it felt weird. They couldn't connect to the movies from those times, so they were like, okay, this is a movie of people from a different race with like a different experience. At least I can connect to that. At least they're not like these white folk that I'm experiencing. And I think that's like our relationship to Black movies, which is, okay, this is getting at something, it's getting close, it's fulfilling a specific need. But it would be great if it would be great to have things that specific much that fulfill a much deeper need.
Yeah, I think it just has to keep evolving into like scrape off a superficial aspect of it, because basta kung batamina at first glance, oh, a Black person, but besides being Black, there's so much more to us than the color of our skin. The fact that we're women, the fact that we're immigrants, the fact that we're studying different things, the fact that we want to reach a higher thing. Cool. Maybe our parents or grandparents, ancestors didn't. Because there's so much story there. Cool. It that kind of to me boring.
Yeah.
Bakit mira the same type of image.
Yeah.
Kami being a variety in what you can bring to the table. And solamente because I know it has, at the end of the day, it has to do with money. It has to do with resources. It has to do with people who will take action to do that. And if they aren't, pekoy te pasa. Pero I do think that there's a development happening of that. And that would be with the new generation creating local, quote unquote, art. So art will be broad.
Oh, okay. I thought the implication was that they don't create art. I was like, what?
No,
but I get what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah, art, but so it can be so many things. Kung kami na to still consider that art.
That's true.
So,
Verdad.
I will get to that. We can pull up a question that we saw on Instagram. Cool. For, maybe make this a bit more clear as to what we mean.
But first, a message from our sponsor.
A message from our sponsors. Hi, I'm Tyler Perry. Do you like movies about...
Do you like movies about Black people, but you just don't really enjoy the experiences of Black people?
Right.
Okay, I'm sorry. Apparently he sued the Boondocks for making fun of him.
Yeah, because he hates being fact-checked for what he is. And the Boondocks is a fantastic Black art. So the question I wanted to ask, should I say fellow artist? Because I'm an artist too. Someone that I very much enjoy and love seeing create art would be Davini, which you can find on Instagram or her website /blog at Davini Skyler, I believe it is. Dev_Skyler.
I had no idea she had a website or blog. Also, I thought it was pronounced Devini. It's Davini? I have no idea.
Listen, I don't know either. I'm not sure I'm pronouncing it. I'm really bad. I'm really bad with names. Não sei se você notice, pero I even pronounce James name fout.
Bruh.
How?
Whack. I even pronounce his name wrong, and he's okay with it. Please don't correct me. I will continue using this name because it is what it is.
At this point, it's his fault for putting up with it.
Honestly, he didn't correct me, so
It's his. So this is on him.
this is on
This
him.
is on him.
Yeah, Joim, not Joim. I say Joim, and nobody else can do that. Sorry.
Joim.
You can blame it on your mama.
I'm trying to do Jolene song.
I heard it. Good one. But yes, she posted someone asked her a question on Instagram, and it was...
The question was. Oh no! Look, I think she just posted something like, "Let's talk about something. Like, tell me things to talk about." And somebody said to talk about the local art scene, voor wat betreft art and movies and music or something along those lines. Something along those lines. But
to which she responded then with, "There's no local art scene. Rather, there are local people."
which I thought.
No, to that and to
Yeah.
present it to me.
Yeah.
But let's discuss about it.
Yeah. I didn't tell you this. I was the one that asked that question.
Like, bitch. Oh my god. Why didn't I think that pretentious ass question was...
I 100% thought you would have. I was surprised you didn't.
She has a bunch of people following her that ask her.
Yeah, because I saw a lot of different questions that I was like, okay, like I might as well at this point.
Of course your ass asked that. Why didn't I think that? I feel so stupid. Oh
I'm surprised you didn't mention it before
I didn't connect the dots, but
It's very funny.
pretentious.
Of course, talk about the local art scene and stuff, of course.
Wow.
But yeah, she had a very interesting take that I had not considered. Because she said that I haven't told you my opinion on this yet.
Yep.
But she said that there's no local art scene, rather there are local people. And I took that to mean that there are specific people that are making art, and all of those people are different and unique in their own specific way, and you can't talk about all of them as if they're a monolith, as if they're one thing, and it's also very difficult to talk about like the thing that binds them because they're all so different. And it made me think about how genres are born. Like horror movie, this is a bad example, but let's say horror movies are born because somebody makes a movie that's scary, other people copies them, somebody wants to refer to what binds all these movies together, and it's movies that invoke fear, and now the genre was born, and then people look to these movies and try to like copy, or not even copy, but people take influence from the things that these movies have in common, and then they create movies that are within this genre. That's kind of how like genres are born. It's also how video game genres are born. There's also how music genres are born. Trap started as a genre because people took these elements from these things, and now it's like a whole thing. And I do think that because we have so few working artists, it is indeed kind of hard. And that's the thing that I thought was difficult, because I was talking to you about like sort of what defines us. What defines our art scene? If we look at the artists that we have, like what sort of defines us, and what Devani? No, it's not Devani.
Her name is written with 2 E's.
Devani.
No.
Oh, Davani. Davani.
But oh my god, you're gonna make me mispronounce her name. She told me her name.
What she said made me think about maybe there isn't anything yet. All we have are these independent artists that are creating things independently, not in contact with each other, that are creating things. And maybe up and there, if there are more and more people that are looking to these people, we can create a thing that binds us. And I think Mario Gonzalez, I think is his name. Mario Gonzalez, I think, is a filmmaker and cinematographer, or that has made short films, and you've mentioned, because you've seen several of things that he's worked on, some of them directed and written by him, some not, and you saw something that you didn't realize that he worked on, but you were saying how that work reminded you of him, reminded you of his style, because it reminds you of like his use of color and things like that. And I think that's sort of just kind of how it happens, and maybe that will be happening, where if you have collaboration across artists, or if you have just people, eventually somebody will take influence from that style without him working on it, and that's sort of how you grow and develop a local language. What do you like? What do you think about the different local artists and the things that binds them? And like with Mario Gonzalez.
For me, I think I had this idea ko nas ting mani basta na ting Renaissance, ting the Romantics, ting Expressionism, ting suki. I thought ko may sa ting eko ipan nos ting mani art, like it should be classified in something for it to have like a name, pero that's not the case right now. Meta seeing a lot of this generation making stuff ko porta before I didn't see. Like I've been seeing no ko pa na YouTubers where didn't exist, but so I clearly remember watching Awakisu podcast Yama Talk Antiano to me. You guys should watch it and listen to it. But I remember him making videos ko su friend Tim. This was what, 2012 maybe? Got a really long time ago. Pero he was making stuff back then at the Walking to the Point Ketun podcast. But now I'm seeing a lot more YouTube girls, a lot more podcasts ko that, you know, either Arabiano of DNA Garso. I'm seeing a lot more people in modeling. I'm seeing a lot more people making music, Bangkong Kev. People in film, Bangkong Mario, Bangkong Kevin no sepa, Bangkong like actors, manera alayi ko the act plus ita rapper, naji ko to produce music. So I see a lot of young people making things ko not necessarily genre to it yet.
Yes.
It's not a time period coming to be so many. It has a, maybe this is how we're making history by making, so I think those things will get a name once we'll look back into money. Who in this period a lot of people were born and making kiki. So they will give it a name, but there's so many like poets, writers, singers, filmmakers could that making stuff that before I was not seeing people do. And to me that's exciting. To me it's exciting to see someone like Miss Petite, good YouTube channel, Coco Curls, Sharisa, Tiona. It's exciting to see us doing things Coopertown experience I would never even think about doing. It may not have a name, and say I think is great. Look at David and say about it being more about people rather than the art. So there's still so art. Art is so broad. But importa people making clothes. Importa people making YouTube videos. Importa people doing makeup. Kutamiting a bunch of MUAs, MUAs as I call them.
What?
Makeup artists.
Oh.
MUAs,
MUAs? What?
I call them MUAs on purpose.
That's funny.
It's makeup artists who, you know, that's to me it's an art form.
Yes.
And it's
I think
not,
that's fair.
It's not a money sculpting, painting, drawing, fine line. It's not tattoo artist to me. It's art.
True.
So that's why I say it's so broad. So many of us being born doing a creative work right now. It's so hard to give it a name, put a hand in boxes because you don't have to. Yeah,
that's true. And it's very difficult for me, a person that loves genres. Like Community is one of my favorite shows, and one of the things that show does is that it makes fun of specific genres. It makes fun of like mafia movies or westerns or action movies, and also when it comes to music, I like musicians that experiment with genre, that mix things from either hip hop or rap, and then mix it with jazz, and then mix it with rock, and then mix it with Latin music, which is the thing that Kev does on his music, which I think is very cool. And so I keep thinking in terms of genres, And so it's very difficult for me to like look at an art scene or an art movement or a group of artists all from the same place, a lot of them knowing each other, and then not being able to categorize that in a genre. But it's, I guess it's the human temptation of putting things in boxes when there isn't a box yet. Eventually we will look back and see, oh, all of them had this thing in common, or somebody will write a review on a lot of different people and say that, oh, it's this I don't know, this post-colonial Dutch Judy Garçon movement. That's a too long name.
Yeah, no.
But like somebody will say, oh, the new youth movement. What's new youth na pavimento? Hoben Noble. That's a terrible name.
No.
Okay. In ieder geval,
Name will come.
The name
by
will
someone
come.
in history.
Exactly.
Pero again, yeah, I
Interesante,
understand. I think that being said, may make it in community. That put it in a box. The fact that it's happening at Walkie and not like 2 years ago, or it started 2 years ago, but now it's so in your face. Cool, you can't really miss it. Or at least mikutame that in that line of work, can't miss it until but the intermix with a bunch of but at least I see it a lot more there than I see it here. But I do believe it just looks different.
Yes, and I think one thing that I'll add to that is that even me, somebody that's very interested in art, very interested in media, and all of these things, I cannot put a handle on specific artists. It is almost on a whim that I know a lot of people, but I sort of wish that in the same way that we have sort of these critics, like Bokono said, the needle drop. Okay, Anthony Fantano. He does album reviews, and he gives album certain scores, and eventually you'll notice that he'll make a playlist of all of the reviews of things that got an 8 or things that got a 9 or things that got a 10, and then you'll start knowing his taste, and you'll start, even if you don't actually listen to the music, just by watching his reviews, you'll get a better understanding of the music scene, because he reviews an album, he gives context, he talks about what this is, what makes this different, what makes this interesting, and I sort of wish that there was something about like that about the like ABC art scene. That's the word.
ABC art scene. Okay.
Coined it, the ABC art scene. So there's this game called Ding Mi Sapato by these two creators. I think they're both from Bonaire. In ieder geval, one of them did Bonaire. And it's this very interesting little game that was made for school. It's sort of, do you know Pokemon?
Yeah.
Do you know how like top-down Pokemon looks like? Basta man orla kana din Pokemon, it's top-down. See? Okay, good. That's like an RPG thing, like role-playing game thing. So this game is an RPG, like it's a role-playing game. And it's about this like very specific experience, and if you hear them talk about it or what they write about it, it's about this very, very specific particular experience of things that are happening in Bonaire Waraki. And it's an experience who is like across all of the islands, and it was so cool to have a game, because games are things who are so rare because they're hard to make. They're like, movies are harder than music, games are even harder than movies, so it's so rare to find like all these like little interesting art forms expressing again our identity, but this is like a sovereign game. That's a weird term. This is a game kuta onafhankelijk voor de ture otro nang. This is not part of a scene yet, but I do think that it gets to something that all these other like modes and like art things like do. And I don't know if you want to talk now. I'm taking the host role. No, but I don't know if are there like particular artists or particular movements or particular kenmerken or even just pieces of media that you think sort of exemplifies like what we're talking about creators of our age making art that's like new and different and sort of reflecting our stuff.
Necessarily to consider vlogs to be art.
I think they should. There's a lot of editing.
Yeah, but it depends. 'Cause
Mm.
some vlogs are literally just.
Hey guys.
Hi guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a debatable topic.
Mm-hmm.
But I think if I could start making vlogs and people from Aruba Benedu Corso making vlogs, even though, you know, the content portan nos perding, pero it shows someone's life and in a way who our culture is not very bekend
Mm-hmm.
with.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have like a reality TV show, for example.
True.
And vlogs in a way is your own personal reality TV show.
I was going to go with
your
that.
way,
Yeah.
it's a you deciding, Kiko, to go on air or not by being put in your vlog. But that in a way, not that everybody's to vlog because I'm not that invested in someone's life, but I do like watching vlogs. I think it's entertaining, putting it in the background and then doing something that in a very simple sense is something cool to me, shows very literally how we are, who we are, and the pamaslewe or music or film,
Mm-hmm.
which is also something very interested in. Trobe. I really like the music he makes. He shows that he has range.
He does.
And there's a lot more artists who ta singing, ta making music. Nandali ba Juni, nandali ba Josh, nandali ba, you know, everybody else. No say everybody's name. Same to home, like I say.
Why did you only mention men?
Uh,
How about the women? I'm kidding.
there are,
Yeah.
but I didn't forget about Joel.
Yeah.
But it goes to show who nos are trying to find nos way that the show nos and a art que nos hasi. That
Yeah.
it's not always it's like ritmo komina.
Yes.
It's not always gospel.
Yeah.
It's not always I don't know, Boy Today type, you know, songs for
Boy
which, you
Today.
know, come through Boy Today every year for the moms.
Okay, for real. If there's like a Boy Today revival genre, I'm here for it.
I would like to see it. If someone
Slow
wants to
dancing
post up,
for post 2020.
oh my god,
Like
that
post
would be very
2020,
interesting.
ora por fin gente por like mira otro trobe ando like porta con otro. There's gonna be a wave of artists being like, we're gonna make music
Right,
for that time that you can actually be close to each other.
right. But I do
Cerca, that's the name of the band. It's called Cerca.
Cerca?
Uh-huh.
Okay,
Cerca.
sure. I do miss what?
No, I was gonna say Anto, like it's gonna have like a joke like cerca, like ser like being. I don't know what ka is. Corso, cerca, like
Nice.
being the
You
corso,
just started.
also cerca,
Copyrighted.
copyrighted. That's how copyright works. You just say it.
But like I was saying too, I do miss también place como to llega, find those things. And I know Instagram is the perfect place for that. Pero but something no, for real, like I wish nos had nos own in a way nos own platform, but
So,
thing is say.
so.
I mean sako nos ta llega haya, I say people
True.
on there.
And you know, maybe that's the job for us. Maybe that's the job for critics.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the job for sort of amateur journalists, which is people that are interested in this type of thing, to like look up these type of things, people
Right.
that have this experience, people that are in this field. Maybe this is the call to action. Maybe this is saying that be vocal about the things that you like, and maybe that's how we create the platform. Manera ba mention Kev, I think you mentioned Kev and like talking about him, tapone ko, oh, more people know about him, more people can listen to him, or like even if they don't, they're aware of his presence and
Mhm.
they're aware of this busna like take on it, zeg
Right.
maar. And I definitely think that there are definitely people working, which I think are interesting. Manera Kevin Osepa had the short film Watamula, which was Watamula is weird, and it's sort of what I want. I want people to be making short films and longer films like Watamula, which is weird and specific and very much reflecting like us, as in like our experience, but un subset of that, a very specific subset of
Yeah.
that. And I think like that's the thing that what Mula does like so well. That's the thing that Ding Sabato does so well, that it gets to this specific thing, and I think that's like what I want to see more of, and I want to see these artists collaborating, and the manera they like I want there to be a platform, and maybe that platform is a critic or groups of critics or a podcast or a blog.
Right.
So like the French New Wave, which was a movie, which is like a movie movement, started with French critics that were basically talking about what they hated about American movies and what they thought were better, because they were like, yeah, American movies, it's made by a studio, so it doesn't reflect the vision of a specific artist, and there should be movies that reflect the image of specific artists. Movies that have X, Y, and Z, and then they started making those movies, and then that became a whole thing that inspired other people, and like maybe that's what's supposed to happen. Maybe that's what's going to happen, or at least that's what should happen. And yeah, maybe we just all have to be more vocal about the things that we like, and we have to engage with the art that we enjoy, and hopefully, and what I super hope is that, because this is like the key thing, I hope that the art that gets made finds an audience. Dia 30 de Mei ka pasa 30 de Mei ko pasa de last day, there was this exhibition na NAM, the National Archeologische Archiefmuseum, not sure, NAAM, and there was this VR thing. It was fantastic. It was amazing. There was musique de zombie in it. There was animation and live action things. It was the first time that I put on anything on the VR, and when I took it off, it felt like I just woke up from a dream. It felt like I woke up from a 2-hour movie, even though it was only like 7 minutes or 5 minutes of this VR thing, and it was about Trinity May. It was about like local resistance, and when I was asking like Chris who made this? Like, are the credits available online somewhere? Sorry, I don't know. You don't know who Chris is. Chris is one of the people that worked on it. That was part of the exhibition, and I asked him. He said no, the credits are not online. I don't know who made it. I don't know who did the music. I don't know who wrote it. And that's sad. And also, I think everybody should be able to... I think everybody with a VR set should be able to experience this. I think a lot more people should be able to experience this. And a lot of that does have to do, like you said, it has to do with means. It has to do with, like, the financial ability to be able to, like, pay for advertisements and making it and getting a platform and, like, recording well. So, like, there is that financial component. But I think as technology gets cheaper, yeah, we're gonna see more and more of that. And if we don't, that'll be very sad. But I just hope that happens, I guess.
Shere, what would be your final advice for someone that wants to start, this is you included, wants to start something but has not yet?
I don't know. I'm not successful in it. No, okay, that's... No. Yes, I know what you mean. Advice is the wrong word.
What's your take? What it would be?
No, I see what you mean. Actually, advice is... I think advice is interesting. Is an interesting word. It wouldn't be advice for how to be successful, but it would be engage with other artists, engage with artists that came before you, and there is strength in making, like, many things. Because bijvoorbeeld, I remember when I'm like taking courses on writing. This is academic writing, but when taking courses on writing, one of the things they said that like stuck with me is that all of writing is rewriting. Like after your first draft, that's when you start writing. Yeah. That's when you start writing. Like having 12 different drafts, like that's just it. And I think a lot of people, me included, like sort of like look up in the air and fantasize about, oh, one day I'm going to have written a book. I don't want to write a book, but one day I'm going to have written a book, but they don't actually write. And I think that people should just start doing the thing. Yeah. Start doing the weird thing, and it's going to find an audience. And even if it doesn't, that's fine. You made a thing. That thing is out there. And I just want people to just be making stuff. Just keep making stuff. Keep making stuff. Engage with other artists. Like, engage your peers. And engage with things that have come before you. Like, look at movies from Felix Doroy, for example, which is a person who I don't think I've seen many movies of, but I know he makes a lot of movies. I think he was like a critic on a bunch of things. Then is the film festival Curaçao. So I think maybe that would be it. And also, if you are an artist, be nice to collaborators. Like, be open to collaborate.
Yep.
I think that's the thing that I want. I want all of the people I like to like each other.
Yeah, important.
And I think that's how like things will grow. I think that's how we'll grow like a more community. And I'm kind of excited for it. I didn't expect that. I'm kind of excited for it. This was very nice because it made me think about the fact that there is an art scene, but there isn't yet a box to put all of them in. And I think that's exciting. I think that's kind of fun. And like that just means that there's more people to discover. There's just more ground to cover. It's a frontier, and I think that's really cool.
Yeah, I think I'm very excited too. I think also so Mitam is included in that. So this is advice for me, you, and the people listening. It's just fuck it and just do it. Yeah, like start making it because you have fun with it because it's something you're passionate about.
Yeah.
Just start it and don't think about you're making it for other people. Make it for yourself.
Yeah.
Kuta make it a point pa challenge for me and push yourself to the next level. Like if you've always wanted to do this, collaborate with friends. There's so many friends who think talent for something but don't know how to do it by themselves, or don't want to do it by themselves. Take them under your wing, like, hey, I have this position, we've been working on this project, would you like to help me with it? Put them in the light as well by helping them. I think it's super important to support each other but also collaborate with each other. Help where you can, help where it's needed. And I think something tambe, maybe this is another debatable subject, but you're not always gonna get paid. And I think como estudiante vivando Holanda, it's a bit like, oh, debes decirle por nada kasi hindi tempo, but you're gaining something from it. You're gaining friendship, you're gaining skills, you're gaining opportunities. Sing mo sa the networking tambe. Sometimes you're not gonna get paid in funds or money or currency, but you're getting paid in different ways.
You're getting paid in fun.
No. Pero just again, fuck it and try it out. See where that leads you without it being for the validation of other people, without being made for Instagram, without being made for YouTube, without I'm gonna my parents are gonna think or my friends gonna think. Make it for you. See, we'll not post it ever. That's fine, but at least prove to yourself that you can.
And then also post it.
And then at some point, throwback Friday. I made this project, blah blah blah, and then you just fucking post it. Yeah.
Also, just be anonymous. I think that's fun.
That's
I think
cool.
We don't have anonymous artists anymore, but I think you used to have it a lot more in like with music. Like Daft Punk at one point was anonymous. There's this UK garage, I think is what the genre is called. It's like post dubstep called, or UK garage artist called Burial. That was like anonymous. I think Captain Murphy. That one's cheating because he was anonymous, but he was also a different artist.
Yeah.
But I think, just like be anonymous. Tell your friends, let your friends like share this, and just like have an anonymous page if you like that's like cool and be weird. And
have like a close friends list, like many things by Instagram, and just share with those people.
Yeah. And also, you know what? Share it ku Telecuracao and TV Direct and Extra and Amigo, and there are local venues, there are local newspapers, there are local news stations, and they need content. I'm sure they'd be interested in whatever your weird little art project is. You know what I mean? Yeah. And if they're not, then still, you tried. At
least you tried. See, like, what, you're not losing anything. See. Sometimes face. But, they
don't care. Like, they won't judge you.
No, of course not. But, so someone judge you, miss, did they do it or did you? Like, what are they doing? Honestly,
Jonah, that's deep. What did they do?
What are they doing?
Yeah, if somebody punches you, isn't it your fault that you got punched?
I mean, what did you do?
What did you do?
Exactly. What did you do?
What did you do?
Yeah.
That's the episode title.
What did you do? Is the episode. Let's make it that. That's the episode title. So with that being said, this "What Would You Do" episode has come to its end.
This was fun.
This was fun. Thank you for being on the podcast and having this conversation with me. Very much I enjoyed this.
I did too.
Where can people find you?
You can find me both on Twitter and on Instagram at Chris Everts with 2 S's. That's Everts that's Chris Everts ChrisEvertss. And also in your dreams.
Right.
Get it? You can find me in your dreams? No? Okay. Never mind.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Anyways, you can find him in your dreams. And you can find me on my socials as well. Maybe you should first follow OnBrand Podcast.
Did you say thirst follow? First follow. Thirst
follow as well, honey. Follow us on those socials. You can find us on Instagram at onbrand.pc. You can find us on YouTube as well. Just search up OnBrand Podcast, OnBrand Pagana Otro Podcasts. You can follow me on my socials at Anshkapr, or you can it sounds like I'm farting.
I'm sorry. Could you repeat that? Anshkapr?
Anshkapr, which is A-N. Wow, I was gonna mispronounce.
Were you going to misspell your own name?
Yeah. ANGECAPR, or my creative Instagram, which is Memoria_ID. And you can follow my co-hosts as well. Their socials are gonna be below, so I don't mispronounce anything. Follow everyone who are being mentioned.
So you're not going to mispronounce Dream again?
Right. You can follow everyone who say tame. You should check them out. Maybe I'll put some links, maybe not. No promises, because you are not my husband or wife. But you will. I will see you on the next episode then. You will see me on the next episode.
Also, no lupila di bebe awa.
Yeah.
And sleep well.
Yes. And if you want more of this guy on the podcast, let me know, and I will bring him somehow.
No promises.
You can pay for my ticket, and I'll.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's all. Thank you for watching.